Welcome to another episode of Meet the Realtor. And with me today, I have Jared Gordon from Baird Warner Frankfort. Welcome.
Thank you, Chris. How you doing today?
Great. I'm so happy to have you here. We've known Jared for such a long time. We've seen him firsthand with his clients. He's just fantastic. Well, give us a little background on yourself and what's your experience in the real estate?
Sure. So as Chris said, I'm Jared Gordon. I'm with Baird Warner out of our Frankfort office. I've been around real estate. I've been a licensed realtor for a little over 5 years now. I've always been kind of around real estate, just in different fields early in my life, and always wanted to be involved and be a realtor. So been busy, hit the ground running in those past 5 years. Coming close to almost 200 transactions I've been a part of. So definitely got a lot of experience on that. A lot of different transaction, predominantly residential. But recently I went and got my commercial accreditation, so we'll be adding a little bit more commercial work into it.
Well, that's great, and that's a great segue into my next question. How do you really differentiate yourself from other realtors in this area?
Well, it's a great question. What I always like to tell and what I kind of put out there is my real estate concierge service. And that just kind of came about as just feedback from my clients of the service I provide, the value that I gave to them. We sometimes forget when we do this every day that our clients don't. And so what we take for granted is knowing the process of how this works, many clients don't. And so when I come in, I always tell them, I'm going to take care of everything, take care of the entire process. The only thing I won't do is move boxes, but I can refer somebody to do that. And that comes from, helping them from the get-go, staging, how do we get the house ready? It comes to once we're under contract and negotiations, scheduling inspections, if we need to get any quotes for anything, any type of work done, any trade work, whether it be before, during, or after. I have a great team of professionals, and it's everybody that I recommend is all people that I've used personally. So whether it be an inspector like a an attorney, any trades work, I have all those people, and definitely I try to go above and beyond. I had an older woman who had lived in a house for 50 years, recently moved out of state, didn't want to take everything with her, but wanted to make sure the donation went somewhere. So I came, and she had no way to get this to the donation center. So I came with my truck and trailer, loaded up 50 years of stuff she had accumulated, and took it over to Goodwill for her.
I tell you, I have to give you credit on that one. Your attention to detail and your passion for your clients is just incredible.
Thank you.
So I see your love for real estate. How does your passion for real estate benefit your clients?
Well, real estate it's something, like I said, I've been involved, I've been around it, I've been very interested in it for as long as I can remember. But it focuses on is the client. That's my main concern, my main focus is my passion. It's developing that relationship, developing that trust with the client, and that's definitely a two-way street with them. It's like I said earlier, it's not something they do that often. So I want to make sure that I'm there for them and I take care of them the best that I can, and that they trust me to make the decisions throughout the process. I want them to but I want them to focus on packing and moving and where they're going. I don't want them to stress about the process and the transaction. That's where I come in. That's where I like to take care of them. Actually, just before this interview here, I was just coming from a client of mine. She's moving out of state, and she'd been in her house too long. I've been in her house 40 some years, and just everything that went on with this process, it was a lot going on. But she was just so thankful. I was so thankful for a chance to get to know her. But as they're leaving tomorrow morning and getting on the road, but when I saw her today to say goodbye, she gave me a big hug, a kiss on the cheek, and thanked me so much. And so it was really great. She even gave me a bottle of rum too, so that was nice as well.
I can tell. You not only are trustworthy and detail oriented, but you're friendly with your clients. They really love you when you go through the whole process.
Well,
I can
you.
tell that. Tell us about maybe a recent success story, or maybe how you helped a client navigate through a challenging situation.
Sure. Well, really, all transactions are success stories, right? Mm-hmm. They're all great. I can't really put one above the other, and there's always going to be challenges. And challenges is what makes me better at my craft. Some people always want a nice, smooth transaction, but those are no fun. So it's when you have those challenges and figure out what's the solution to move forward. It makes you a better person, makes you a better realtor. A couple do stand out kind of on two different sides of the spectrum. One, there was a client came to me. She was early 70s, living with her mother who was in her 90s, I believe she was 94. And lifelong goal, his lifelong dream was to own their own home. They'd been renting, their whole life and immigrated here about 30 years ago and just did a lot of rentals. So working with my preferred lender, we had a lot of obstacles to get through, but we got her approved. We found a great home for her, a nice ranch style house for her and her mother. I mean, at the closing table, the two of them were in tears and embracing, and it was really cool to be a part of it. And here's somebody who's been on this earth for over 70 years, and we finally helped her accomplish a goal, which is awesome to be a part of that. On the other end of the spectrum too, things happen, divorces happen, and I was recently involved in one where two sides of a transaction. There was kids involved, there was multiple sellers because we had to find homes for them, and courts were involved, 4 attorneys, and it was really a lot. We had to go up the chain and down the chain. Every decision had to go through multiple people, multiple attorneys, and at the end of the day, the sale process from contract to close took almost 3.5 months because of all the paperwork involved and the people involved. But we made it through, and both sides of that divorce were happy. The kids were happy. Buyers, sellers. I mean, at the end of the day, we walked away, and it worked out great for everybody.
I tell you, that takes an incredible amount of patience and empathy on both parties. I tell you, that's a great testimonial, that's for sure. Well, tell you what, I see you working so hard, your enthusiasm for your clients and the industry. Tell us about your hobbies and what do you do outside the real estate market?
Sure, great question. To be honest, I really don't have time for hobbies because outside of work, I do have 4 daughters, 14-year-old, 9-year-old, and then I have identical twins that are 7, which having identical twins is probably the coolest thing I've ever done in my life. Not that all 4 of them aren't phenomenal, but it's just so cool to have identical twins and just seeing the differences of personalities and things is great. So I do spend most of my time with them, very involved in their lives. I did coach my oldest one in cheerleading a few years ago, and then this past season was actually cheer director for our Peotone Blue Demons. Go Big Blue! And my Demonettes, as I call my cheerleaders. So my youngest 3 are on a team, so we had a great season this year. But also I coached them in basketball and softball. My youngest are getting into gymnastics now. So that's really where I spend most of my time. If I do have a couple minutes here and there, I do have some beehives on my property, so I do a bit of beekeeping. I like to be out in the garden around the property, catch a Bears game or, a beer garden now and then.
Oh, and hopefully one of these days you'll get some sleep, maybe when the girls grow up.
Right, that'll be nice. And maybe the Bears will get some wins too.
Yeah, maybe. That might be a little longer. But anyway, well, thank you, Jared. It's been such a great pleasure. I mean, we've known you for a number of years, and I tell you, we can tell you firsthand how Jared is just wonderful working with his clients. And thank you for joining us to learn about the ever-evolving world of real estate. And keep in mind, whether you're buying or selling your dream home, we're just a conversation away.